The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show. Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with my new BFF, Tyler Malone. And again, when I say BFF, as much of a BFF as I can have. He's Canadian, but we're still going to be nice. We're going to pretend it's okay. This guy started DustBuster's Kingston in January 1st, 2022, which is impressive and exciting because we are recording this January 28th. So we've got a fairly brand new fella in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. He's planning on serving residential and commercial. Before we jump, or as we jump in, Tyler, A, let me know if there's anything I missed, and B, what made you go from kind of the real world, so to speak, to deciding to be in the cleaning space?
I just really want to take control of my life and just how much I make. Kind of just tired of, like when you work a job, you no matter how hard you work, you're always going to get paid the same amount of money. It's always kind of a ceiling that you're living under. So I kind of want more. I like the freedom of owning a business and working for myself. So
I love the business. What made you pick? And I get it. I've been unemployable for 25 years, so kindred spirits. That said, why the cleaning business as opposed to some other thing?
I just recently found out that I kind of enjoy cleaning. Just like afterwards, looking at my work and it feels really like I've accomplished something. I don't know. It feels good to clean, I guess. Also, just at my house, I find when I clean, I just feel better. I feel like like old people or people that can't clean, it could probably improve their life a little bit. So make them feel better. So.
All right. Well, I love that. Thanks for sharing and thanks for the background. That said, let's jump in. How can I help you get this thing from launchpad to where you want to be?
Okay. So since I started, I've just been kind of trying to build awareness about my company, just trying to get people to maybe recognize my logo. I know myself, when I look at a new company, it takes me I'm not just going to go with a new company that I just seen that day, unless, it's a really well-known company that's, that everybody's using or something like that. So even though I'm missing some materials and stuff that I need, I figured that it'd be better just to start and just to get my name out and get people aware that I'm actually running a cleaning business, just so that if, the time arises when they need someone to hire to clean their business or their home, that my name will just be in the mix with the rest of the companies, basically.
Cool. So first of all, I really appreciate you sharing that. Second of all, may I have permission to be relatively blunt in my response?
Yes.
Awesome. And I'm going to try and be extra nice to you, but I want to be blunt more for Cleaning Nation out there. I wish I could say Tyler's perspective on this is unique, but it is not. It is a very common thread of I want to get my name out there. I want to get people to know me. I want to be well known. I want to have good brand recognition. Am I putting words in your mouth, or is that a fair restatement of how you?
I would say that's pretty fair. Yeah.
Okay. So a couple things. First of all, common. So when I pick on you, don't be like, oh my gosh, Mike was really harsh. Or, you're dumb, Tyler. Nope, not at all. This is super what a lot of people think. And if we're honest, young Mike probably felt at the same time. And that's why we have this podcast, to help you kind of make smarter, better mistakes than I made. And a lot of people like you have made. So branding really bums me out as a term because it's so misunderstood. And branding certainly has a place. When you are Apple and you're a multi-billion-dollar company, branding is an important piece of your deal. When you're Coca-Cola, branding is a really big piece of the pie. When you are less than 50 million, probably definitely less than 10 million in revenue, we really don't care as much about branding. So Facebook and a lot of the marketers out there want to tell you to do a bunch of stuff to get eyeballs, to get branding, to get brand recognition, to get quote unquote my name out there, all vanity stuff, right? And we'll make a lot of ineffective decisions based on that. I've got 1 million people saw my ad because I paid them to. I bought super expensive and nice fancy cars and wrapped them. And now I've got eyeballs. right? None of that's bad. It's all fine. But when we're a little company, we don't need branding. We don't need name recognition. We need cash. We need someone to give us freaking money. So when you are a brand like Coca-Cola, and it's like a Coke's a buck, a Pepsi's a buck, a Dr. Pepper's a buck, and they're all the same sugar water. One just tastes a little different. Branding's everything, right? And your advertising marketing budget might be $400 million. So you can invest in that. When you are Mike's Cleaning Company, whoever you're going to serve is much more interested in what can you do for me? That's it. They don't care about your name. They don't care about your brand. They don't care about any of that crap other than as it relates to what you can do for me. So I promise you, Tyler, when it's just you, right? Because if you're less than a month into this, you're the chief cook and bottle washer, fair?
Yeah.
Okay. You're it. So Coca-Cola, whoever the CEO is Coca-Cola, I don't know, because they're a brand and I can trust the brand. But I promise you, if I'm looking to have someone clean my house, there's nothing you can say or do in a brand or on a billboard or on a wrapped car or on a business card or a chamber meeting or whatever. Even a chamber meeting doesn't count because that's you personally. Any sort of one-to-many media that's going to be overcome than my experience with you directly, right? So what you really need is leads that turn into bids that turn into sales. That's it. And you're like, I don't know, the people are just going to make it yeah, they are. It's a 2 or 3, certainly on the residential side. For a $200-$300 a month cleaning service, if I call the guy in or the gal in and I talk to him and he seems to know what he's talking about and understands me and I feel heard and I believe he can solve my problem, I'll absolutely sign up right then and there. For commercial, it might be a little longer, but I'm still going to go based on the guy I'm talking to, not on some sort of quote unquote branding. So I would encourage everybody to move from, I just want to get my name out there. That's a lot of times when we're starting, there's fears, as there should be. There's overwhelm. There's, I don't know. No one ever trained me how to do this. I know I'm good at cleaning, but no one ever taught me how to be a business owner. So we feel not enough or not prepared, or people are going to find out that we're just new here. And we want to overcome that with, well, if I have fancy this or fancy that or nice business cards or a fancy website or whatever, then I'll feel better about myself. And maybe you will. You probably won't. What'll actually make you feel better about yourself is actually serving clients, right? Taking their money and giving them a result. And they're like, wow, this is amazing. I feel fantastic. That's freaking branding. And then guess what? Hey, could I take a quick 10-second video of you, Tyler, saying, wow, this is amazing. I feel fantastic. And you have 20 of those. Now you really have something. Not only will you feel better, but your clients will give a crap because like, oh, Mike helped that guy. That guy looks like me. He can help me. I know this is kind of a big tectonic shift. Any thoughts? And I'm okay with you fighting it, like in emotion. Go, no, that's not right. I'm still scared. Talk to me. Where are you at, Tyler?
No, yeah, that sounded like spot on. Honestly, I kind of agree with everything you just said. It's just that, like, as far as getting my first customer, it's like I don't know any. Like, I don't have anyone that I know personally that wants a cleaning service or anything like that. So I'm kind of stuck when it comes to like I really just want to build up some reviews and some positive feedback on my page to
don't need any of that stuff. So, and that's all fine. I'm not saying you should. So let me be clear on what I am and I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, are you stupid? You don't need any reviews. Those are dumb. Of course, we've got 100 reviews. We love them all. They're fantastic. But when I started, I had no reviews and I didn't need a review to give someone value. So it is good to go as I'm building my business and giving value to the world. I sure would like to get some reviews. And if I'm not getting some positive reviews, I'm probably doing a bad job, right? Like we have a bunch of reviews, not because we've been doing it a long time, because we've changed a lot of lives. So if I'm not changing lives, I don't get reviews. That's a problem. If I'm changing lives, I should be getting reviews, but I'm not going to go do stuff just to get reviews. Okay. I might do something to get experience. Like when I first started, I don't know if I coached anyone for free or not, but I would have. But the goal wouldn't have been to get a review. It would have been to change that guy's life or that gal's life. And then as a natural result of that, of course, I'd like to get a review. But if I'm going to change their life, I'm going to charge for it. So the good thing is with coaching, it's a little different because before you've done it, you're like, can I really help this guy? With cleaning, you should be pretty confident. This is a dirty house. I can come in and 2 hours later, it shall be clean. Period. You should get paid for that. Now, if you want to do a free cleaning to get an opportunity to bid or as a way to get new clients, God bless. But the review, the branding, the good vibes, the name recognition, all that garbage is fine. We love it. We'll take it for free. We're not going to, that's not the goal. So we got to get off the goal of, I need a website. I need an LLC. I need a bunch of reviews. I need business cards. I need a logo. You don't need any of that garbage. You need one human being that goes, I have a dirty house. I don't have the time or interest in cleaning it. I do have money. I will exchange that money for you to take that problem away. That's it. That's the only thing you need to have a business. So all that other stuff is good, but we don't pay for it. We pay for leads and bids and sales. We do not pay for branding. Branding happens as a result of doing good service and being good in the community. We've got a great brand and it just came. I didn't pay a branding expert and I don't freaking care. You know what I'm saying? I did the things I want to do to build my business. The branding came. If you look to get to build it, the branding, the business will not automatically grow. So if you do one, I'm going to build my business and you do it well with integrity, you'll build a great brand. If you just go to build a great brand, how do you build a brand without changing people's lives? So let's just start with what we want, which is I'm going to take money for a service. I'm going to do a kick-ass job. And I'm going to repeat, as I do that, a brand will happen. Reviews will happen. A website at some point may happen. But the goal needs to be, the short version of what I'm saying is nothing happens until somebody makes a sale, right? It's a lot more fun to get your LLC and buy workers' compensation insurance and buy uniforms and fool with the logo and buy my office furniture. These are all fun things that feel like we're building something, but they're not. It's not fun to go, hey, Tyler, I'm Mike. I'm brand new to business. I've never sold anything to anybody and I'm terrified out of my ass. But if you give me some money, I'll clean your house and I'll make you feel great. And I know you're taking a risk. There's other companies that are bigger and better and been around for longer. I'm not any of those things, but you're my first client. No one's going to love you more than me. I'd love to take a chance. And if you want to make it even better, you know what I'll do, Tyler? Let me do the work first. And then I'll tell you what I think is fair. And you just pay whatever you think is fair. You know, you can make it as easy as you want, but you see how that's a harder conversation than talking to some branding expert or Facebook and getting clicks or some web designer, all that other garbage where we're kind of safe and in control, but not making any money. It's hard to go out there and go, this is important to me and I'm asking to help you and I'm asking to take a risk on me. That's scary, but that's freaking building a business. Thoughts?
Well, yeah, no, I agree with everything you just said as well. But it's, how would you suggest like getting your first lead, like just getting to that person where you can tell them like, you know, you are going to be my first customer. No one's going to love you more than me, but I'm just, the hurdle I'm having is just getting that. I did get someone who called me like last week and they just didn't seem like they were ready to buy. So I called them, I followed up with them this week, but she's still not ready. I told her to reach out whenever, but I'm just trying to figure out how I'm just going to get that first lead. I understand what you're saying though. As soon as I get that first lead, I can wow that person and you know what I mean? Really.
So let's talk about that. So first of all, hopefully Cleaning Nation, you guys are noticing Tyler's talking about a lot of things to do, right? I need to get a review. I need to get a lead. I'm going to answer your question, by the way, just to be clear. I keep answering with how to think and what to believe. In business, believe it or not, especially when we work with people as clients, we certainly tell you everything you need to do and how to do it in the orders and spreadsheets and all the tactical that, you know, us kind of A-type personalities desire. But we know first we have to get you to believe the right thing. Once we give you the believing the right thing, the how to do what you need to do is super easy. But if you believe the wrong things, you're not going to do what you need to do. So the reason I share that is just in the time that we spent, Tyler, it may not feel this way, but I promise you the biggest step forward you've made is moving from, I need branding, you not knowing what you needed. I need branding. Well, but great. How do you go get branding? You probably don't know that either. Why would you? But I also need a website and I also need, and the problem is all these other things, a wrapped car, a uniform, people will take your money to give you those things. And at the end of the day, you've got a beautiful uniform, but no employees and no customers. And the guy that sold you the uniform, it's not his fault because he delivered what he said, but you asked for the wrong thing, you got the wrong thing, and now you're stuck. So a big step forward you've made, and I want to encourage you, is you went from how do I get my name out there and how do I blah, 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 to a much better question of how do I get my first customer? So that's first. If you ask the wrong question, doesn't matter how good the answer is, you're going to go the wrong direction. So how do I get my name out there? Terrible question for a guy starting. How do I get my first customer? Powerful question for a guy starting. You see the difference?
Yeah, I do.
I don't want to just skip over that, like assumptively, like, oh, no big deal. That's a huge deal. Elevating the quality of your question is going to elevate the quality of your experience. So I'm going to answer that question, but I didn't want you to miss, believe it or not, the power of, even if I didn't coach you, if I gave you perfect coaching on the wrong question, how do I get people to know my name? It would be less valuable than just going, you're asking the wrong question, ask how do I get my first client, and give you no coaching. Other than that, just you knowing the right question to ask is further ahead than the perfect coaching on the wrong answer. See how big of a deal that is?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you go, good, now answer the damn question. To answer your question. You're like, oh, great, Mike, no freaking answer my question. You're exhausting me. Welcome to Cleaning Nation, by the way. So I promise I'm going to answer your question, but the thing is people go too far ahead and they don't get the foundation. So the foundation is, and again, this is why when we take people through a process, there's steps, and the steps are done in order. And believe it or not, getting your first customer is step 3 or 4. So we've got to go to step 1. Step 1, and I promise I'm going to answer in the little time that we have how to get your first client. But if you don't have the foundation, that's like me having a plot of land going, how do I do drywall? You're like, I can tell you that, but until you flatten the land, put up some concrete and get some framing up, the drywall, what are you going to hang it on? I guess you could just stand it up on your dirt and that would be drywall, but that's not going to get you where you want to go. So your foundation needs to be first and foremost your goal. And believe it or not, and everyone's like, what? I'm just going to sell something. I want to make as much money as possible. If your goal was to make as much money as possible, my answer would be work as hard as you possibly can. Like that. You're like, well, that's terrible coaching. I'm like, I know it's a terrible goal. What do you want from me? So how do I get my first customer is a question we're going to ask. But your first of 1,000 this year, your first of a dozen this year, your first of 3 this month, different things need different strategies, right? So we don't have time to go through that now, but first and foremost, for everybody starting, you need to start with, what do I want? Time and money, right? So we always start with, I want to have $1 million business or $1 billion business or whatever random thing, because we think if I had $1 million business, then I'd be rich. And if I were rich, then I'd be happy. But what we really want is to be happy, and money isn't going to make us happy, but living in a different house, putting our kid in a different school, being able to buy a different car, these are specific things that may or may not make us happy. So you kind of have to get, this is the dollar amount I need to make. And if I want to make this amount of dollar amount, this is the revenue I need to make. And to get that amount of revenue, my average client is going to be this amount. So I need this many clients. You see how that, and again, this is something we do in coaching much slower. But the concept is the same. You got to figure out how many clients you need for the year, so you can figure out how many clients you need for the month. And then you can figure out how to get your first client. The reason I'm talking about all that is until you know who your client is, you can't go get a client, or you might get the wrong client, or you might get someone who doesn't pay. So one of the things that we talk about as you start listening to more of the podcast, when you're like, hey, I'm going to do residential and commercial. I'm like, not well, you're not. I have 0 people over $500,000 or that have been in business for a long time that do residential and commercial. They all, if you're going to grow, you're going to switch. So first of all, you got to know who you sell to, right? So we go, how do I get my first client? Which is a much better client than but much better question than how do I get my name out there? A better question still is, whose life do I want to make better and how do I want to do it? So if you want to serve residential and your primary client is going to be dual income moms that have 3 kids and 2 pets and a high powered job, and she's looking at her husband going, why don't you clean up this pigsty? And he's looking at her going, why don't you clean up this pigsty? Because they both work 60 hours a week. The way that you're going to get that first customer is going to be wildly different than an elderly retired couple like that you mentioned. That's like, we are physically incapable of doing this. And we are starting to feel that we're losing our independence, and we're probably trying to do things physically we shouldn't be, that aren't safe for us. And we know it, but we're afraid to admit it to ourselves. Do you see how those are 2 wildly different people, and you're still serving 2 wildly different and if you try to use the strategies to get the elderly first client with the high powered dual income family, you'll fail miserably, and the reverse. So before we know who our client is, you're like, how do I get my first client? Well, who are they and what problem do you solve? Not sure. Anyone, residential, commercial, I'll clean a cat, a dog, a clothes, a house, anything. If it moves, I'll clean it. If it stays still, I'll clean it. I have no idea how to get that client because I don't know what their pain is or how you're going to help them. Right. And then what kind of branding would you need? Like the branding to the elderly couple is going to be wildly different than the branding to the high powered couple, which is going to be wildly different than if you want to clean car dealerships, which is going to be wildly different than hospitals, which would be wildly different than a single operating chiropractor. So before we can ask the question effectively, how do I get my first client? We have to answer the question, who should my client be? Does that make sense? So yeah. There's a reason we did really well in grow my cleaning company. If my business was called Mike's Coaching, I don't know what does that mean? Soccer, like life, fat guys to make skinny? That could mean anything, right? And like, how do I get my first client? Well, who do you serve? Anyone. I just want to coach them. And I don't know anyone that wants coaching. Well, nobody does. But if I said, I want to find owners of cleaning companies that are just starting and help them get their first $10,000, whoo, that's real specific. It's a very specific product offering and messaging. Everything can be specific. But that's if I'm just Mike's Coaching, how the frick do I help anybody? So I hate to say it, just tell me how to get my first client. Embedded is that I don't know who my first client is. Could be residential, could be commercial, could be a car dealership, could be a golf course, could be young people, old people, rich people, poor people, people in mobile homes, renters, condos, I don't know, anything. Like, I can't help you at all. So the first thing is you're going to go, whose problem do I want to serve? And then you just, once you do know that, you go and find a way to give them value. So the first thing I did when I started growing my cleaning company 700 episodes ago, started a podcast just like this, giving you value. The charge is nothing. A lot of the podcast people said, holy crap, I'd like to be a customer. We talked about that. And if it made sense, they were a customer. If it wasn't, that's okay. And then a lot of them didn't do anything then. They came back years later. That's how I built a brand. We just kept giving value, but I knew who my customer was. I knew what the pain they had was, and I just gave as much value as I could. And now we have more clients than we can handle. So the steps will be the same for you. Be crystal clear on who your customer is. Then you got to get crystal clear on what their pain is, what problem you're solving for them, right? If you don't know, again, the pain that you'd solve for the elderly couple, wildly different than the young, powerful couple. If you tell the young, powerful couple, hey, you're getting old, you can't do it, you need help, you're not, here's the key to your independence. They're going to go, what are you talking about? We're powerful and young. We have all the independent, you'll get 0 clients. If you tell the elderly people that are retired, we can save you time to be with your family. They're going to go, my family's moved out. We have all the time in the world. It's completely not going to resonate. So until you're crystal clear on who you want to serve, what problem you solve for them, and the problem isn't cleaning, because you understand how the elderly couple and the young people have very different problems, even though, quote unquote, the solution is cleaning. One is about independence. One is about freedom of time. If you try and sell freedom of time, independence, they won't buy it. If you try to sell independence, freedom of time, they won't buy either. So we've got to get all that clear. Then we can just find a way to help give the elderly people independence, the car dealership, the ability to have the customers and employees be there and be happy, the young power couple the time to have more time with each other and their kids. So short answer is find out who your perfect prospect is, understand their pain better than they understand it, communicate their pain back to them, and then help them solve it for free or for money. That is always the process for any new business. And I know that's 20 years of learning in 26 minutes. Questions, comments, or remarks to close this out?
Not really. No, I think that's some really good input. Honestly, I might just consider, just maybe doing. I've already done a free cleaning for someone just to get a little bit more experience with some of the products I was using and stuff. But I might consider actually right now just reaching out to somebody, maybe a senior or something, just to get some more. Just to do a cleaning for them and try to improve their life a little bit so that I can also just practice and maybe it'll lead somewhere good, right? Like you said.
So let me jump in just because we're running out of time and I want to make sure we wrap. 1, that's a great idea, but still step 2. If you just give a free cleaning to someone you throw a rock and hit, they're probably not a perfect prospect. So it's not going to work. You cannot skip the step of, I know exactly who I want to serve. And then I'm going to serve my perfect prospect, not just the guy that said yes, my neighbor who's broke like I am that lives in an apartment complex. I don't know anything about, I'm not saying that's your case, but in my mobile home park or whatever, there's nothing wrong with mobile home parks. There's nothing wrong with apartments. They're probably not going to be your perfect prospects. There's nothing wrong with your parents, but if you're serving young people, so make sure if you're going to do a free clean, God bless. That's remember the last step I said was give a bunch of value to that community. A free clean's a great way to give value, but if it's got to be a perfect prospect. A lot of people are like, well, I'm comfortable with my sister's house because she said yes, but my sister's not my perfect prospect. So you're going to build a brand with the wrong people, if that makes sense. All right. Yeah. We could talk about this forever. Cleaning Nation, if you're like, oh my gosh, this sounds great, but I need more. I think I did a podcast. Maybe Lindsay can link to it in the show notes. What I would do if I was starting a cleaning company. If you're just starting, that's probably another good asset. The best resource I would give you, go to growmycleaningcompany.com. I don't think we have anything for sale there, but there's over 700 podcasts, blogs, YouTube videos. There's a 15,000 member Facebook group. The best place to start, whether you're starting or scaling, is the free on-demand masterclass. It's 40 minutes. We talk about the 5 shifts that you need to make to be successful. It's perfect for just starting out. It's perfect if you're at $1 million trying to go to 2 and everywhere in between. Check it out now, growmycleaningcompany.com. See you there.
Well, here we are, the end of the podcast, and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me, but like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share with a friend, share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431. 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now. 602-932-6431. Give me a text. Say hey. Can't wait to meet you.